halfway through this meeting, one of the traffickers gets up and he said, "Pablo, I have to show you the gifts that I brought you." This is the moment that changed my life. He went in the house where the children are. He was there for about 10 minutes, and we could hear some of the children crying. They were so scared of coming out and meeting the men who were supposed to defile them, right? And pretty soon they came out, and they had 4 virgins, scared to death. They had 3 little girls.
Old.
And 1 little boy. This little boy was 11. He was taken from Haiti. He was given cocaine that morning because he was so scared it was going to hurt. I mean, what kind of monster thinks that that's attractive? Every cell in my body wanted to just hug these kids and say, "You're going to be fine. You're going to see your parents again." I couldn't say that. And I'm sitting on this chair, and they bring these girls out and this little boy. And one of the girls was the same one he showed me on that picture.
Mm.
And she's standing in front of me, and she had red hair with braids down the back. Her shirt had a little kitty cat on it. She was 11. And her face had makeup on it that had been smeared. She had been crying. She was so scared of this moment. She thought that this was it. And everything in me wanted to just say, "No, it's not going to happen. You're going to be fine. You're going to see your parents." I couldn't say that. I took her little hands. I'm sitting down. She's standing up, and we're eye level. And I said to her, I said, "¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name?" She didn't answer. It's because her real name probably wasn't Princess, right? She was trying to figure out what the traffickers wanted her to say. And I just said, "Está bien. It's okay." I couldn't blow our covers. The agents hadn't come to arrest everybody. We were still sitting there in the middle of all these traffickers. And I said to the traffickers, I said, "It's not time for the party to start." There was a delay. The delay in the movie wasn't because all the kids were there. They were already there. The delay was because some of the Child Protective Services people weren't there with the kids. And so I said, "Take them back in. We still need to negotiate our deal." And I'm trying to figure out how to delay so that they're not having these kids come out and be traumatized like that. And I said, "You know what?" I said, "You've just proven to me that you could do what you said you would do. This is the inventory you said you had." I said, "Why don't you bring out these kids, you bring out this cocaine, I'm gonna have a great time. I'm gonna be fucked up for the next few days. Why don't we pencil our deal right now?" I was simply trying to delay until the agents came. I had to bring out a notebook and a pen, and I started taking notes about a business plan. And I had negotiated hundreds of business plans in my career. This was second nature to me. But this one was like no other. When the inventory, when the product is children, the conversation gets really, really dark, really quickly. And I was delaying with this. Finally, the agent still hadn't come. And I said, I had this one last stroke of genius, really was God just saying, "Paul, this is what you should say." I said, "You know what?" I said, and the conversation had gotten so dark that I couldn't even breathe because of what they were talking about. It was literally a business plan about what you do to the kids and where you get them and how all of this stuff. And I couldn't even breathe. It was getting so dark. So I said, "Guys, I'm willing to do this."
And they were allegedly renting them to you for a couple hours.
Yeah.
That's all this was.
Yeah, that's all it was. But it was for the purpose of me funding this resort for them so they can build out this business. And I said, "Look, you've proven to me all this stuff. You brought the inventory. You brought what we were